Lokesh this side. Welcome to Lokiforce. Lokiforce is a place where I share interesting Salesforce solutions, facts, troubleshooting tips, also trending topics that is AI and Agent Force and much more. All right. So as we all know that Salesforce is retiring platform API versions 21 through 30 as of summer 2025 release. So what this basically means is that any applications in your org that consumes these retired API versions will be affected, and you will start noticing there are messages like the requested endpoint is not found and cannot be processed by this platform. I know it says overdue over here, but it's not too late to do this analysis. So in this video, we are going to see how we can find those applications that is using API versions 21 through 30. All right. So what are the areas that this API version retirement impact? This retirement basically affects any codes, packages, or applications or integrations executing a request of versions 30 and below. What kind of APIs are impacted? So this affects the API families like SOAP, REST, and bulk. Before we jump in, finding the applications that uses these going to be retired API versions, let's first understand what are all the areas that are not going to be affected. One of the common misconceptions, is the moment when we hear the API version, our thought will instantly go to the API versions in the Apex class, LWCs, flows, etc. For example, let me search for Apex class and let me open one of my sample Apex class over here. So each Apex class has its own Salesforce.com API version under version settings. So currently, as you can see, it says like 57. Although this API version is important to keep your component up to date with the Salesforce releases, this API retirement is not going to impact the Apex classes or Apex triggers, Visual Force pages, flows, LWCs, etc. That said, let's look into what are the areas that are really going to be impacted with this AP retirement. And for that, we are going to use event log file browser feature. Okay. So currently I'm in one of my personal developer edition orgs, and here I'm in event log file browser where you can provide the start and end date intervals over here. And in order to specifically get the event log files of the API, you can set the filter on event type as API total usage and just click apply. So as soon as you click apply, you will see the event log files over here, and each entry describes like what kind of events going on in your org. And you can also download these entries as a CSV file. I have downloaded one such entries. Let me bring up that. Okay, so this is the one of the sample entries that I have downloaded, and this has lots of metrics as you can see over here, and you can basically analyze this and you can take an action on it. And for any integrations that consume the API versions 30 and below, you can follow the certain key fields in this event log data to help identify the source of this legacy API calls, starting from the user ID, the API family, which basically describes what kind of API it is, and the API version, and the API resource, the client name, and the connected app. Basically, if you have any connected apps in your org and that makes a call or request to the going to be deprecated API versions, and you can take a look into it, and the entity names and the usernames as well. So if you want to analyze any bulk API request, remember this API retirement is also going to affect the API families like REST, SOAP, and bulk as well. You can do a quick check on the bulk data load jobs. So if you done any bulk data load things using data loader or any other processes, you will see the entry over here. And if you open the any entry, you will see the API version fields over there. And if you notice anything that says like 30 or below, you have to analyze that and fix that. And finally, if you want to analyze any SOAP API logins, you can basically use the login history object. And in my org, I basically queried the login history object in the dev console, where I can see like API version field over here. So currently it says like NA. And if you see or if you notice any such API version names that is 30 and below, You can just analyze that and work on it. So if you haven't done this analysis already, this API retirement thing, it's high time to do that to keep your applications up and running in your org. That's it. Thank you. See you guys in the next interesting video. Bye.